In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 5 cards at each position in NBA 2K23 My Team. So going over the top 5 point guards, the top 5 shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers as well. And just going over the best cards at each position being the top 5. So let me know in the comment section down below, who do you guys think is the best card at each position in the game right now? But starting off here with my top 5 point guards, at the number 1 spot, I do think the best point guard in the game is the Hero Dark Matter Ben Simmons, just because of his defensive ability. He's such a tall power forward, point guard I should say, 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's going to give you elite level defense. He can rebound the ball, he can dribble, he can drive to the basket, and he does have a 91 3 ball and great Hall of Fame shooting badges, which is going to make a massive difference compared to his normal Titans version and the Galaxy Opal Stellar one as well, because of those shooting badges, the higher 3 ball, and also, you know, his jump shot is going to be on very quick timing, and they did give him the tray fade, or the tray escape I should say, which is a lot better as well. So Ben Simmons, I do think is going to be the best point guard with his hero version. Now another hero card that I think is going to be the second best point guard in the game is going to be the hero Nikola Jokic. It's a really close debate in my opinion between Jokic and Luka Doncic, because I do think Luka is in at number 3. He's an amazing offensive point guard, one of the best, if not maybe the best offensive card in the game in Luka, but Jokic is 6'10" or 6'11" at the point guard position, 7'3" wingspan, amazing player model and just size for point guard. He's an elite level defender, but we know Jokic is just going to be so good on the offensive side of the ball, able to knock down threes with an amazing jump shot with the Oscar Robertson upper, Eric Pascal based on very quick timing. He's also got the Curry size up, the John Wall escape, he's got the quick drops off one, and the front clutches. All around the card super souped out, and I think is the second best point guard. And then number 3, I think is going to be Luka Doncic, just for his offensive ability, 6'7" at point guard with an amazing release, one of the better releases in the game, with the KPJ base and the Rudy Gay upper on very quick timing. He's got the Trae Young dribble sigs, which is really nice, and then he also does have the tray fade. All around Luka Doncic, one of the best offensive cards in my team, and I think the third best point guard in the game. Now for number 4 and number 5, it's once again a really close debate. I do think personally Ron Artest is the 4th best point guard in the game because of his defensive stats, his badges, and especially his defensive tendencies are super high. So I do think Ron Artest is the 4th best point guard in the game for the defense he does provide to the squad. And then at number 5, I do think the 5th best point guard in the game is the Dark Matter hero MJ. Now I would put him maybe a little bit higher if he did have a better upper, because the MJ upper just really isn't that great. Like, he's got the KPJ base, but like the MJ upper really isn't that great. But other than that, the card's super amazing and going to be one of the better cards in the game. I think you got to throw him here somewhere in the top 5. So these are going to be my top 5 point guards currently in my team. Moving over to the top 5 shooting guards, I think at number 1 we have a new best shooting guard in the game, and that's going to be the Hero Dark Matter Tim Thomas. I think he's slightly better than the Terry Dishingers and the T-Max of the world, just because of his size. He's 6'10" at the 2. He's got a great player model, and I think he's got way better dribble sigs than T-Mac and Terry Dishinger. He's got the Steve Francis size up, the Trae Young escape, which are the 2 best sigs in my team, and he's also got a very quick jump shot with the LaMelo Ball base and the Trae Young upper. He's also got the tray fade, good defensive tendencies. I think all around is the best shooting guard in the game. I got Terry Dishinger at number 2 and then T-Mac at number 3. I think you got to have these cards, you know, right next to each other if you wanted to go, you know, maybe even Terry Dishinger over Tim Thomas. You know, I think that's fair to say if you wanted to, and then maybe even throw T-Mac over him. Like, they're all super close at the shooting guard position, and I don't think there's one clear number 1 best shooting guard in the game. I do think personally it's Tim Thomas, but let me know who you guys would take between these 3 shooting guards. For me personally, I'm going Tim at 1, Terry Dishinger at 2, and then T-Mac at 3. Another just, I think, very solid all-around shooting guard card that's got to be somewhere in the top 5 is the Dark Matter Steve Smith. I think he's got to be a top 5 shooting guard for sure. Now, whether you want to put him number 5, you want to put him number 4, I think for me personally, he's locked in at number 4, because there's really not too many other elite shooting guards in the game besides these top 4 cards. I mean, you know, Steve Smith, Tim Thomas, Terry Dishinger, T-Mac are like miles better than the next best shooting guard in the game, which I do personally think is Ricky Davis. I think Ricky's still really good on offense. is not a knock at Ricky at all, but like I think Steve Smith, T-Mac, Terry, Tim are kind of that next step above compared to a Ricky Davis at the shooting guard position. But these are going to be my top 5 shooting guards in the game. Ricky Davis, an amazing jump shot and still one of the better offensive cards in the game, especially for his price. Now moving over to the top 5 small forwards. Number 1, I think you got to give it to the Dark Matter Bull. He just does everything at such a high level. You know, being 7'2" with a 7'7" wingspan is going to make the world of difference, and that's the main reason, because if he was 6'9", 6'10", he might not be the best small forward in the game, but since he's got that size, he's got that wingspan, we know he can do everything on the court at a very high level. Jump shot maybe isn't the best release in the world. There's some super glitchy, you know, overpowered jump shot, but you can still knock down consistently, you know, with his release. He's got the Kyle Lowry size up, the tray escape, his movement's going to be really good, and then stats and badges are pretty much perfect with a card with 40 Hall of Fame badges. Number 2, I do think is going to be a defensive monster, and that is the Dark Matter KG, and that's going to be kind of the theme for the next 2 small forwards. I got AK at number 3, and then I do have Bill Russell at number 4, just because of the defense they do provide. I mean, all these 3 cards are just elite on the defensive end. I think KG's got probably the best defensive stats and badges and animations, you know, height, wingspan. Him and Bill Russell are very close for who's the best, you know, small forward defender. I think personally it might be Bill Russell still, but I do think KG gives you a lot more on the offensive end compared to a card like Bill Russell, because his jump shot is so much easier to green and it's quicker, and then he also does have better dribble sig. So the better all-around small forward, I think for sure, is Kevin Garnett. You can make an argument that Bill Russell still probably is maybe slightly better on the defensive end. He's got every single Hall of Fame defensive badge, his stats are maxed out, and then great defensive tendencies as well. So Bill Russell is still probably the best defender in the game, or at least, you know, at least top 3, and definitely the best defensive small forward, but he's a little bit of a liability on offense, especially if you can't green his jump shot. Sometimes it does feel a little bit slow in game, but I do think Bill Russell is still the 4th best small forward. And then AK at number 3, he's just a great 2-way small forward in the game. I mean, you guys probably know by now, you know, why AK is so good. He plays elite level defense, tons of good Hall of Fame defensive badges, but he brings you that offense that most small forwards in the game don't. He's got the O-shape base on very quick timing. He's got the tray fade, the tray dribble sigs. He's got the Kawhi Leonard motion style. You know, maybe not the greatest defensive tendencies in the world, but still solid. And I do think AK-47 is the 3rd best small forward in the game. For number 5, I am going to be going with the Gallisobel Big Z, just because I feel like he's got to be a top 5 small forward because of his size. Being 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan, he just opens up the doors for so many other cards to be ran in your lineup. If you want to run a smaller power forward or even a smaller center, you can go ahead and do so with Big Z in your lineup because of his mismatch and just size at the small forward position. But now to talk about the top 5 power forwards in the game. Number 1 is going to be the best card in the game, and that's going to be the Dark Matter Manute Bull. Is there really much to look at on 2KDB? I really don't think so. I mean, 7'7", 8'5" wingspan. You know, even though his stats might not look the craziest in game, even though they're great stats, this man's jump shot is knockdown, especially in the catch and shoot. He moves super quick. He's just unstoppable going to the rim, and I think is the best card in the game. Not even a debate in my opinion, and obviously that's going to make him the best power forward. Number 2, another very obvious choice, and that's going to be Pink Diamond Taco Fall. Still 7'6", 8'2" wingspan. One of the best paint matchers, and a card that can somewhat contain a Manute Bull. So a very valuable card in Taco Fall, and I do think he's the 2nd best power forward. Number 3 might be a little bit shocking to you guys, but I think it's actually the Dark Matter Alonzo Mourning. Now I will say, I'm not really counting Kristaps and Dikembe as power forwards, just because of the fact that I think they play so much better at the center position, and most people do run them at center. So they would be 4 and 5. I'm just going to put that out there. They would be 4 and 5, maybe even over Alonzo Mourning if I'm going to count them as, as power forwards. I know they both can play the power forward position. I just think they should be more on the center top 5 than the power forwards. But if you guys wanted to put them in here, they could definitely be 4 and 5, or maybe even 3 and 4, and then move Alonzo Mourning to the number 5 spot. But the other 2 really good power forward cards that I think are going to fill the top 5 is going to be Dark Matter Dirk and then Dark Matter D-Rob. The thing with Dirk is his jump shot is just so fast in game, and that's what in my opinion is going to make him one of the best power forwards. Now there's other power forward cards like Hakeem Olajuwon, Dwight Howard, that I know a lot of people might choose over Dirk and D-Rob, but I just think Dirk on offense, you know, is just so elite. 7'1" at power forward, 7'3" wingspan, almost every single Hall of Fame shooting badge, 99 3-ball. The jump shot super quick. He's also got a great leaner. He's got pretty solid dribble 6. I just think because of his jump shot, and he does play very solid defense in game, I think he's going to be the 4th best power forward. And then you guys know what D-Rob can do. Just going to be a big body, another 7'1" power forward, good defense. You know, kind of the complete opposite of Dirk. Dirk's there for offense. He's got a great jump shot. D-Rob is all there for defense, an amazing defender with still a little bit of an offensive bag. But yeah, these are going to be my top 5 power forwards in the game. And then moving on to the last position here, the top 5 centers in my team. Number 1, once again, is going to be the best card in the game, and that is the Dark Matter Manute Bull. You know, a little bit better than number 2 in my opinion, which is the Dark Matter Yao. There is a pretty big difference after using both of these cards, not by like some crazy margin, but I do think there's a pretty big difference between Manute Bull and the Hero Yao Ming. For number 3, I think it's another, I guess you could say, close one. So the thing that I was thinking is, should I go, you know, Yao Ming? Because Opal Yao Ming is definitely a different center card than the Hero, but I don't know if I want to have 2 of the same names in the top 5. So if we're gonna include Yao Ming, I would go, you know, Hero Yao Ming at 2, and then the Opal Yao Ming at 3, and then that's where I would go Kristaps and go Dikembe Mutombo. Kristaps at 4, and then I would go Dikembe Mutombo at 5. Now, if you don't want to include Yao Ming, the Opal version, I'd probably move Kristaps to 3, Dikembe to 4, and then I would personally either go Brook Lopez or Marc Gasol. I will go Brook Lopez as my 5th best center in the game. He's got great size and amazing jump shot. Same thing with Dikembe Mutombo, and then Kristaps is 7'3" with an amazing jump shot and one of the best poppers in the game at the center or power forward position. So if we don't include the Opal Yao Ming, these are going to be my top 5 centers in the game. But just to give you guys a quick overview, these are going to be my top 5 point guards in the game: Ben Simmons, Jokic, Luka, Ron Artest, MJ. Top 5 shooting guards: Tim Thomas, Terry Dishinger, T-Mac, Steve Smith, Ricky Davis. Top 5 small forwards: Bull, KG, AK, Bill Russell, Big Z. Top 5 power forwards: Manute Bull, Taco Fall, Lonzo Mourning, Dirk, D-Rob. And then top 5 centers, like you guys just saw, Manute Bull, Yao Ming would be the other Yao Ming if you wanted to, the Opal version, but if not, going to be Kristaps 3, Dikembe 4, and then Brook Lopez 5. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about my top 5 cards at each position, and let me know your guys' top 5 cards, you know, at a position, and just let me know what you guys think about my ranking, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.